is a cave in the world with a dread legend. Travelers, in future times, will toil up the hot ridges of the Atlas Mountains to see the cavern of Dahra, where a whole tribe of Arabs were foully murdered. And how? Were they half-naked savages in deadly feud with another tribe as barbarous as themselves? Were the murderers some nameless African clan, obscure in the world's history as those they put to death? Was the whole catastrophe one of those which inevitably must occur when savage wars against savage? No. It occurred in a struggle between civilized man and semi-savage man, and, foul disgrace, the civilized were the murderers, the savage the victims. It occurred in a war between the invaders of a country and the inhabitants, who fought for their old possessions, their property and their rights, and, foul blot, the assailants piled up the faggots and the defenders perished. It occurred in a war waged by the French nation, which arrogates to itself the position of leader of European civilization, which claims the title of the most civilized, the most enlightened, the most polished people of the earth. The Arabs pretend to no such distinction. They form roving clans of uncivilized men, living a primitive pastoral life in caverns and tents. Yet it was the enlightened, the polished, the humane aggressors who roasted some 800 of the savages for the crime of defending their own country, of daring in legitimate warfare to resist the legions which would have wrestled it from them. The murder was no deed of a few minutes, no sudden outbreak of wrath, no massacre prompted by fiery longings for revenge. The cavern, into which the Arabs retreated, was a vast one. It had many chinks and crannies, and it was long ere the stifling smoke and baking fire did their work. The Frenchmen heard the moans and shrieks, and the tumult of despair, as dying men and women turned furiously on each other and sought to free themselves from lingering agony by more sudden death. They heard the strokes of the yataghan and the pistol shots, which told that suicide, or mutual destruction, was going on in the darkness of the cavern. They heard all this renewed at intervals, and continued hour after hour, but still they coolly heaped straw upon the blaze, tranquilly fed the fire, until all was silent but its own roaring, and burnt, maimed, and convulsed corpses, blackened, some of them calcined by the fire, remained piled in mouldering, rotting masses in the cave, to tell that a few hours before a tribe of men, women, and children had entered its dreary portals. And now, great nation, what think ye Europe says of you? You plume yourselves on being the most mighty, the most advanced people of the earth, the very focus of light, intelligence, and humanity. The false glare of military glory which continually bedazzles you shows massacre and rapine decked in the colors of good deeds. The itch of conquest seems to make you confound good and evil. If fight you will, fight like civilized soldiers, not like lurking savages. Mow down your enemies, if you must have war, in a fair field. Face them, foot to foot and hand to hand, but for the sake of your fame, for the sake of the civilization you have attained. Stifle not defenseless wretches in caverns, massacre not women and children, by the horrible agency of slow fire.